What's up, everybody, and welcome to your daily day take, which is a daily sports take. And today's day take is for those who bleed green, my fellow Philadelphia Eagle fans, or if you're just curious about the Eagles, this one's for you. This is a week 1.5 preview. So this is going to be between week 1 and week 2. Didn't have time to do the week 1 preview or reaction, if you would. So we're going to combine them both. I'm going to talk about a few things that I noticed from the Cowboys game, and a few things leading up to the Chiefs game as a pre-game preview for week 2, if you would. All right. So before I get started, make sure that you like, subscribe to the channel, because there's going to be plenty more of these throughout the league, not just for the Eagles, just throughout the football season in general. But if you don't know, now you know I'm a diehard Eagles fan, so there will be more Eagles content than not. Cowboys content as well, because my partner QCB, the other half of the Day and Q show, the Q&A show, is a Cowboys fan. So whenever we do our show, it's nice to have that, banter back and forth. But without further ado, we're going to get started on the matter at hand. So a few things, first and foremost, that I noticed from the week opener versus the Dallas Cowboys game. Before I get to those points, I'm going to just say we got some work to do. We have some holes to fill, but I'd rather have some work to do on the winning side of things rather than the losing side of things. It's always great to start the season 1-0 and go into the second week knowing that you have to improve some things and, get some things going. But carrying that momentum with a week 1 win, can never complain with that. We didn't play our best, but we got the win. So we'll be going into Kansas City, which will be a hostile environment. Chiefs coming off of a loss. On top of that, we whooped their ass just, 6 months ago in the Super Bowl. They didn't forget about that. So they're going to be very motivated to beat us. Now, a little advantage, if you will, for that game, I don't think Xavier Worthy will be playing, and they're already without Rashid Rice for a 4-game suspension. So we kind of got that advantage. They don't have their best receivers, and we have some work to do at DB, which we'll get into. So a few things that I noticed from the Eagles-Cowboys game. First and foremost, we need Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis to stop the run. I know we got some decent young guns at D tackle that's coming up, but right now our enforcers are Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. And the fact that, well, first let me say this. Week 1 was that was the weirdest season opener I've ever witnessed. I mean, from the very first play, our fullback goes out for the season, and correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't he get hurt last year? Like when he was starting to come along as our known fullback, we get a fullback first play per special teams, first play of the game, he's out for the season. And then the spit gate happens. Now my take on the spit gate with Jalen Carter and Dak Prescott is he shouldn't have spat on him. I'm not furious about that he spat on him. If you think that NFL players don't spit on each other, eye gouge each other, all types of dirty shit, then, I don't know what to tell you. I played football from age 10 all the way up through my senior year of college. And I remember Little League, God rest his soul, I had a friend named Derek who played on my Little League team, and he was that Jalen Carter of the team, if you would. He used to be at the bottom of piles punching dudes. He would spit on dudes. He was real nasty and dirty a little bit, but we needed that. I loved him as my teammate. Me, I'm a turn up on the field, but I'm not necessarily like a dirty, trashy type player like that. I think every team should have one. The Eagles, we have one in Jalen Carter. I'm not mad that he spit on Dak. I'm mad that he took the bait right then and there. Dak clearly provoked him on when he spit towards him and gave him that little head nod and wink, and we don't know what was said when he stepped to Carter. He stepped between his linemen, stepped to Carter, said something, and he got the reaction that he wanted out of our best defensive player, and he got tossed. I don't like that he did it in front of the official. You should have said, okay, I'm going to get your ass, and been on his ass like stink on shit the whole game, or if you're going to do something dirty towards him, do it at the bottom of a pile. You know what I mean? You don't do it during commercial break when all eyes are on the richest person in the NFL when nothing else is going on. Like, come on, man. In front of the official on top of that. And I don't like how Dak tried to spin it and say that, oh, why would I spit towards someone? I didn't want to spit on my lineman, yet there was about 180 yards of green grass behind him. He chose to, but anyway, Jalen Carter took the bait. Not proud of that, but he's going to learn from it. Carter's going to learn from it, and I think he's going to come back hungry. He's, kind of a loose cannon. That's why he fell in the draft, obviously, but he's our best defensive player. And he's a, nasty, grimy player, which I like. I think every team should have at least one. Last year we had two, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. But that was the whole Spitgate thing. He gets tossed. Okay, this is right after our fullback is out for the season. Our best defensive player gets tossed. He's not going to play the whole game. And then it was a lightning delay, which was the first one I've seen for an Eagles game, lasted a whole hour. It was just a very weird season opener. Thank God we won. And, it's hard to stay up that late. I'm 30 years old. The game didn't finish till what, like 12:30? I'm 30 years old, man. By 10 o'clock, I'm sleepy. So that was tough. If it was any other team besides the Eagles, I would have been gone to sleep, but I stayed awake to watch my team come out victorious. So it was worth it. So anyway, back to Jalen Carter. Him and Jordan Davis, they are our enforcers as far as stopping the run. Jordan Davis held his own. He played very well for it to be just him, but imagine him and Jalen Carter. I think Jordan Davis looks better than he has previous seasons. I think he kind of knows that he hasn't lived up to his potential, if you would. He was a first-round pick. He realized that. He's lost a lot of weight. He's in better shape, and he looked good. He looked very, very good the season opener, especially for him to be the only true proven defensive tackle that we had. So him and Jalen Carter are needed to stop the run. Williams, right, the running back for the Cowboys that came from Denver and everything, they ran right through us. Out the gate, they ran right through us. 2 rushing touchdowns for him. They ran right down our throats. And again, Jordan Davis is a hell of a D tackle, but we need him and Jalen Carter. They were teammates at Georgia. And it's crazy that they're like polar opposites. Jordan Davis is, kind of happy, dancing, singing, real joyful type of personality. Jalen Carter is like the dog, but Jalen Carter is the little bro to Jordan Davis. So Jordan Davis has to, kind of step up his mentorship, I think, for Jalen Carter, kind of keep him in line. Like, yeah, we need you to be that type of player, but not so deliberately. If that makes sense. So it's obvious we need both of them. So Jalen Carter, I don't think the league is going to suspend him. The Eagles, I'm pretty sure, are going to discipline him somehow, some way. He has to be smarter than that. If you are going to do something dirty, do it at the bottom of a pile. If you want to twist his ankle a little bit, eye gouge him a little bit, that's fine. I don't mind that personally, but do it at the bottom of a pile when no one's looking. He'll learn from it, though. He'll definitely learn from it. He's missed. Hopefully he's pissed off and he can take it out. He can take his rage out on Patrick Mahomes for week 2. All right, the second thing that I noticed, which was clear out the gate as well, and going into the season, we were very skeptical on who was going to be the starting corner opposite of Quinyon Mitchell. We knew Quinyon had that on lock, and he's traveling the field, which I like, but corner 2, I knew Dak was going to target him, which he did out the gate. Adoree Jackson got toasted that game. He did not look good at all. My point, or prediction rather, if you would, I think that Jakorian Bennett sooner than later will be settled in as our cornerback 2 and will be a good cornerback 2. I know a lot of us are asking for Stephon Gilmore, and we tried out Mike Holton, I think that's how you say his name, for the Bengals, who's a very good defensive back, but he's more of a nickel. Now, if we get him, I don't know if we plan on putting Cooper DeJean out at corner, whatever it is. Cooper can kind of play any position. He can play safety, nickel, or corner, but I would rather him stay at nickel and some safety. And we'll get to the safety, but I think Jakorian Bennett, he got in when Adoree was kind of getting toasted. He got in and he allowed some catches, yes, but he didn't get burnt and he made tackles. Now, this is also worth saying that Jakorian got in before Kelly Ringo. Before the season, it was like Kelly Ringo's position to lose. In training camp and preseason, he lost it, especially after a bad performance against the Bengals. Yeah, it was against Jamar Chase, but nonetheless, you're a professional cornerback and you're wearing number 7. So that's high expectations. And the fact that Bennett, who we signed, during the preseason, got in before Kelly Ringo, I think that says a lot about the trust that Vic Fangio has in Bennett. And I personally thought he looked good. For him to just come in, not being with us for that long, limited preseason play, and him come in, he allowed some catches, but he was there in the play. He was in the mix. I believe he had one pass breakup. Probably didn't. I'm not sure, but I think he looked decent for him and he's coming off of an injury when he was with the Raiders. He was good when he was with the Raiders, when he was healthy. That was his only concern. But for him to have limited play within the last 2 seasons, if you would, for him to come in and step in and play decent, I think he'll grow into that position. This week, I think the test will be on our safeties rather than our corner against the Chiefs. But I think that Jakorian Bennett will grow into his role as cornerback 2, and I think will be good. Let's just remain calm. It's been 1 week. Us Eagles fans, we can get very anxious and excited. It's been 1 week. Let's remain calm. I think he'll be good after a while. I think he'll settle into that cornerback 2 position. I got trust in him. Plus, he's from the crib. He's from Maryland, University of Maryland. He's from the crib. He's from Maryland. So, I'm biased towards that. Maryland athletes, we just a little bit different. We under the radar, but we do what we got to do. So, Jakorian Bennett will settle in as a good cornerback 2 eventually, sooner than later. All right. My third takeaway from the game, C.J. Gardner-Johnson is drastically missed. Drastically missed. I like Sidney Brown. I do. But he's such a loose cannon. And it's like he's a hard hitter, but not a for sure tackler, if that makes sense. And he wasn't tested that much in coverage against the Cowboys. I think this week going against the Chiefs, our safeties are going to be tested a lot. Makuba, when healthy, he's good. He's been showing some sparks as a rookie. We all know Ed Reed Blankenship is going to do his thing. I think he's going to be matched up against Travis Kelce a lot. Him and Cooper DeJean, they're going to be kind of bracketing Travis Kelce a lot, especially without Xavier Worthy playing. But Sidney Brown wasn't tested a lot coverage-wise against the Cowboys. We all know he can fill the alley. He kind of throws his body around when he tackles, which usually leads to him getting hurt, which happened last week. He got hurt because he just kind of throws his body around. So he's kind of a loose cannon. He has yet to slow the game down. And players like that, they just kind of go head first, and they're good. Yeah, they can tackle, but when you slow the game down and you become a for sure tackler, that takes your game to another level. But not only that, C.J. Gardner-Johnson is missed as far as that spirit on defense. And we didn't have that. And it was already bad enough we didn't have Jalen Carter. Like, we were missing tackles. Our coverage wasn't the best on a lot of plays. We very much so missed C.J. Gardner-Johnson. That was a very big head scratch this offseason when we got rid of him. And I know that the front office tried to say it was a money thing. As soon as it happened, I knew it wasn't a money thing. I mean, let's be honest. C.J. was kind of him and Jalen Carter were kind of in the same boat. They're, like grimy players, very high energy. They're outspoken. And I think that the team didn't want 2 of them. And one thing I noticed last year was that Jalen Carter and C.J. Gardner-Johnson were both that player. C.J. was the big brother. Jalen was the little brother. They kind of C.J. egged it on by Jalen. Like, he wanted that more out of Jalen, and they kind of fed off of that energy amongst one another, if you would. And I just don't think that the Eagles wanted 2. I think, 1 is kind of bad enough, even though I think it's more so good to have 1. I think 1 was just a little bit too much. They didn't want 2, so they got rid of C.J. Gardner-Johnson. And it was felt. Yeah, he wasn't the best coverage guy, wasn't the best tackler, I should say. His coverage was decent because he had a few picks last season, but we're definitely missing him. And it's tough, man, to replace a guy like that, just bringing that dog mentality to the defense. I mean, it showed. When he was with us, we went to the Super Bowl twice. The 2 years he was with us, we went to the Super Bowl. And this is the second time we're going to be without him. Hopefully we go back to the Super Bowl, of course, but it's tough to replace a player like that. We got Zadarius Smith. We'll see what he does as far as bringing that leadership and that kind of veteran spirit. And we brought Marcus Epps back, but it's tough replacing C.J. Gardner-Johnson. And that was clear as day out the gate. All right, so that's 3. All right, now getting on to the Chiefs game. Day take number 4 for the Chiefs game is that this would be a huge momentum boost if we get this dub at Arrowhead after they lost their first game. Now, they're going to be hungry, not only because they lost their first game against the Chargers. I mean, we kicked their ass. We embarrassed them in the Super Bowl. They made a whole documentary leading up to the Super Bowl because they truly believed that they were going to three-peat. They had to drop the documentary anyway of them losing. You know what I mean? Like, that was a very disappointed bunch. They're going to be hungry. Andy Reid, his former team, they're going to be very hungry to get this dub. Their home opener, you know what I mean? And this Mahomes is Kelce, 2 for sure Hall of Famers, and his Big Red Andy Reid, for sure Hall of Fame coach. They're not going to be taken lightly with or without Xavier Worthy. So that's going to be a huge, huge, huge game. If we can start the season 2-0, if the Chiefs can start 0-2, Jalen Hurts is 2-2 versus the Chiefs, both regular season and playoffs. So this will be the tiebreaker, perfect tiebreaker, even though I want that Super Bowl tiebreaker. And not only that, like, Hurts can really solidify himself as the quarterback that can beat Mahomes. And he's not even in an AFC. Like, who was it? I think it was Teddy Bruschi that called the Bills versus Ravens game like the little brother bowl. You know what I mean? Like the game to see which player is the second best behind Patrick Mahomes. If Hurts can get this dub over Mahomes, that'll, even show more why he's a great quarterback in the league. We know he is. A lot of people say he isn't, but we don't care. We got the ring, so y'all can say what y'all want at this point. But if he can go into Arrowhead after the Chiefs started 0-1 and beat Mahomes again, just after we spanked them a couple months ago, that would be huge for the team. That'll be huge for the league and believing in us getting our confidence back. Because like I said, even though we won against the Cowboys, it didn't look our best. So it'll be good for getting our confidence back, creating that momentum going into week 3, which will be huge. And it'll put a lot of respect. It'll, kind of boost our ego, which will be good. So this will be a huge game, huge momentum game, 4:30 game of the week. I can't wait. I was going to live stream it, but I'm going to be in Maryland visiting family, watching the game. So I'm going to just be having a watch party with the folks, but it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. All right. Just wanted to kind of point that out there, like how big of a game this really is. All right. Now, my point number 4, I'm going to just be honest. I don't like Patrick Mahomes. I don't. I respect his game to an extent, but I do not like him. And I used to not like him after the Super Bowl loss just because he beat us. Like it was hate. I was just a hater. I'm not going to lie. I didn't like him because they beat us in the Super Bowl. So I was very salty. I didn't like the guy. But then, we get back to the Super Bowl. The rematch happens. And I'm like, okay, we beat him. Okay, cool. We're at even grounds. I don't mind Mahomes. I respect his game. He's a cool dude or whatever. But the reason why I say I don't like him is because in week 1 against the Chargers, and this is spoken from someone who played defensive back up to the college level, the move he did on the sideline where he's running out of bounds and the defensive back is letting up and he lowers his shoulder and runs over the defensive back. And then in the post-game conference, he said, yeah, I was looking for contact on that play. That was such bullshit. I mean, this is the same guy who, a flop, if you would, against the Bengals when he got touched on the sideline, helped them win that game in the postseason. Like, it's the league at this point. Defense knows that if you just breathe on a quarterback, you're done for. So it's kind of like an unspoken thing where a quarterback is running towards the sideline, the defensive back lets up, right? That's kind of unspoken, right? So Mahomes going towards the sideline, he said, you know what, I'm going to take one more step in bounds. I'm going to lower my shoulder. The dude was kind of guiding him out of bounds. Mahomes said, no, I'm going to take one more step in bounds and lower my shoulder towards him. That was bullshit. That was straight bullshit. I did not respect that. I thought that was very wild, and I hope someone lights his ass up. I hope someone from the Eagles, give me like Zach Bond. Give me someone that if they do it, it's going to hurt. I hope someone from the Eagles lights his ass up if he's going towards that sideline, because that's what it's going to be now. Because what a defensive player is supposed to do? Because if it's a half an inch step too closer towards him when he's going towards the sideline, it's going to be a flag. But then after the bullshit he pulled, you're like, okay, well, he can drop his shoulder towards me. So what am I supposed to do? Let him go out of bounds? No, I'm going to try to rock his ass. And I hope somebody does just that. Whether it's from the Eagles or any game after that, someone light his ass up. I used to like the dude. I respect his game. I don't like him no more. I thought that was bullshit as a defensive player who understands the unspoken ethic, if you would have just guiding the person out of bounds. Listen, I can't touch you. You know I can't touch you. I'm going to just guide you out of bounds. I'm not going to try to do anything dirty. Just go ahead and go out of bounds. And he says, nah, I'm going to try to lower my. All right, bet. I hope someone from the Eagles lights his ass up when he goes towards that sideline. All right, so that was my 5th point. Yeah, I don't like Mahomes. I don't like him anymore. So every game moving forward, especially from the Eagles, hope we beat them. I hope they make it to the Super Bowl again, just so we can embarrass them again, beat them again at the Super Bowl. That's how bad I don't like him anymore. All right, I've never disliked the quarterback. I was never one of those guys that didn't like Brady. Nah, Brady was a beast. I liked his mentality. He was good. He won games, and he had a dog mentality. Mahomes, I don't like the dude. Nope. Someone light his ass up. That sideline move he pulled was bullshit. Someone light his ass up. All right, so those are my 5 points, but I have a bonus one. I want to talk about my guy right here, A.J. Brown. A lot of people were, A.J. Brown, 1 catch. Hurts can't feed A.J. Brown. Hurts had an amazing game. What was he, 19 for 23? Ran for 2 touchdowns, 0. He didn't put the ball in harm's way at all. He took what the defense gave him. They sent their linebackers out underneath A.J. Brown, and the corners were playing anything deep. They took away our routes as far as A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. So what did Hurts do? He found Dallas Goedert a lot in the middle because that's what the defense gave us. Again, I made a video about this before the game started. I said, listen, with our offense, use the Super Bowl as a perfect template. And the Steelers game in the regular season last year, they stopped Saquon. Everyone knows Saquon's our best offensive player. When they stop Saquon, when they do everything, they say, listen, we're going to stop Saquon. You have to beat us some other way. All right? Jalen has to beat us. When they do that, then that's going to open up the game for other players if it's allowed. Cowboys stop Saquon, then they stopped AJ and him. The only other way to beat them is in the middle with Dallas Goedert or Hurts stepping up in the middle of the pocket and scrambling, which he did for touchdowns. We're not a team we're a running team first and foremost. Like, we're not a sling it, a West Coast offense team that's going to have every game Smitty and AJ 100 receiving yards because we have the best running back and we're a running team. So it's kind of pick your poison. They took away AJ that week. Cool. That's probably not going to be the first time that happens. Someone's going to eat and someone's not going to eat every week. We have a great tight end. We have an all-pro wide receiver. We have an all-pro running back. We have an all-pro quarterback. We have two great wide receivers. Like, everyone's not going to eat every game, especially since we're a running team. That's not going to happen. And you're talking to someone who has Saquon on his fantasy team, started him. One catch. I think I got like 6 points. And I lost that week by like 4 points. So if I had a receiver that had like 3 or 4 catches, I would have won fantasy that week. I lost. And I have AJ and Saquon, and I hated it, but I had to because second round came, and AJ was the best person on. I had to take him. I really took him for draft capital, but anyway, I'm getting carried away. AJ is going to be just fine. He'll probably eat this game against the Chiefs. Last time we played him, Spags brought pressure on Hurts, left a lot of man coverage in the backfield, which is why AJ Brown ate. They might do the same thing, and AJ might go off this week. It's all right. We're good. We're okay. AJ Brown is perfectly fine. Smitty, like, they have to know, listen, as a receiver, you can't do anything if the quarterback doesn't get the ball to you. All right? It's not like running back. And if they're taking you completely out of the game, then you kind of got to know that's what it's going to be sometimes. But we're going to get the victory at the end of the day. Do you want a ring or do you want stats? Simple as that. He's going to get his stats. He's still going to get 1,000 yards on the season. I guarantee it. This just wasn't his game because the Cowboys had a good game plan to make sure that he did not go off, which he didn't, which opened up the alley for Hurts to step up in the middle or to hit Dallas Goedert over the middle because they made sure he did not hit us. Brown did not kill them on comebacks, go routes, post routes. And I have a lot of respect for Trayvon Diggs. He did good against A.J. Brown. I'm not going to take nothing away from him as well. So that's all that was, man. Well, listen. 22 minutes later, thank y'all for tuning in. This is your daily day take. This is week 1.5 preview for the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me know in the comments what y'all think for each one of the 5 or 6 takes. Your thoughts on it, your opinions on it. If I'm on point, if I'm completely wrong, let me know. I'm here for it. I respond to the comments. Looking forward to it. Again, make sure that y'all like, subscribe, drop a comment, interact, help this get out some more. This was a great week 1 of football. A lot of comebacks. A lot of unexpecteds. Didn't see Aaron Rodgers having a shootout with Justin Fields and the Jets. Did not see that. Did not see the Bills and the Ravens putting up 82 total points. I went to sleep when the Ravens were up 2 scores with like 4 minutes left. I went to sleep. Thought it was over. Woke up 41-40. I couldn't believe it. Great week 1. Looking forward to week 2. We got some great games. But America's game of the week, Eagles versus Chiefs, is going to be a huge one. If we get this win, then this will really set us up good going into the rest of our tough schedule. All right. So until next time, make sure that y'all stay safe, stay sane, stay blessed. Tune in to the Q&A show on Monday from 7 to 8, right before that Monday night game. And we out, man. Go Birds. Peace.